Blake's Tri-Pacer Part 4, Hot Springs, Arkansas, Gainsville, Texas, and Divine. We landed in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and found unusual for a Saturday afternoon somebody who could look after our alternator to make sure we got power from the alternator. That turned out to be positive. We had blown the main fuse, but the airplane had a second fuse, so we did not have to hand prop the airplane. We could actually restart the airplane, but we still had too much amperage on the ampermeter, and so we had to fly on without power to the panel. No big deal. We were prepared.
Huh?
You've got the next
Yeah, we have the next thing planned out. So, since we're not changing anything, we just stick.
Do we just pay in here?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm just waiting for you.
No, Blake, no. Don't do
Look
it.
what I found.
Don't do it.
As we crossed over a corner of Oklahoma into Texas, the weather went for the worst. It started raining, and as we crossed into Texas, rain was coming down pretty hard, and we decided to land in Gainesville, Texas. The landing included and needed all hands on deck, so there is no footage for it. But we settled for the night. Gainesville is a small airport. As many airports, they provide facilities for pilots to spend the night, as well as a courtesy car for those pilots that get stranded in weather to get around. So after looking at the airplane one more time, I had a hunch what would cause our problem. And I checked the manuals and the electric wiring diagrams that Blake had gotten from the pre-owner, and I thought it might be worth a try to see if we had a stick-in regulator. Now, you never know when you need the information that you absorbed somewhere in your past to get you out of a bad situation. In this case, I had learned with my old VW Bug and had a similar problem with a stick-in regulator. So we took the courtesy car and went to the local Walmart, bought some supplies, some sandpaper, and a battery charger, and were in shock and awe about the gas prices that locally were to be found there in Texas, which was at that time about $1.50 less than we paid in California. Well, then we went to the IHOP and we had a small snack and we settled for the night and spent an uneventful night at Gainesville, Texas, while it was raining outside.
Gainesville in Texas. Welcome to Gainesville. We never let you go.
Truth to be told, the weather had cleared up a little bit, and the cloud layer had raised, and we decided to check the problem. There is no footage for that, but I can tell you I opened the regulator and found a stick in contact, just like I assumed. That contact normally switches from battery power to alternator power once the alternator is active and the engine is running. So since that was sticking, both battery and alternator provided power, which led to the overamperage, which led to the fact that the fuse blew after a while. So I took the Walmart sandpaper, sanded off the contact, and closed the regulator back, and we were ready to taxi on the ground since the weather already had decreased again and it started raining. And our experiment went very well. We had charged the battery overnight, so we had no problem starting the airplane, and we taxied for about 30-40 minutes with everything running. Ampere meter showed everything, so all we needed was a break in the weather to get out of Gainesville, Texas, because the weather maps showed that we were clear to the east. So that waiting game on a Sunday led to the fact that Blake finally drove me to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport with the courtesy shuttle, and I flew out of there since I had to go back to work Monday. My flight home was rather uneventful, though pretty strenuous, because it led me through Denver, Colorado, then via Phoenix back to Bakersfield. And while we climbed out of Dallas-Fort Worth, I could see that the cloud layer broke after 6,000 feet, and I relayed that message to Blake, and Blake was able to use his IFR rating to fly out of Gainesville, Texas. And he flew home the last part of the flight from Gainesville, Texas to Tehachapi alone. I am a little sad about that. But all in all, like Blake used to say, this was an adventure of the century. We both had so much fun, and we learned a lot. And I would redo it at any time with any kind of airplane, motorhome, or whatever. Going from coast to coast in this great country gives you a lot of sights. And visiting First Flight Airport was definitely a check mark on both of our bucket lists. So it was a great trip. We both will never forget it. Then we had fun with this little tri-pacer. Centennial flight in Aqua Dulce for a breakfast, or just flying around. Blake's tri-pacer, November 6, 814 Bravo.